Eduardo Masso. He'd never played a left-handed Belgian before. Garrett Rostano, the danger man, and so he went, beating Boris Becker in 5. That was a tremendous emotional lift for Andre. McEnroe losing his first set to the Brazilian Luiz Matar, and then came that marvelous pyrotechnical display. A little early for 4th of July, but it was worthy of it, with Patrick Cash, 2 former champions, 6-2.
And then David Wheaton, a seeded player, and Olhovsky, the man who put out the #1 player, Jim Courier, and Guy Forget, the left-handed Frenchman, to get McEnroe to this semifinal. He's the last American to win Wimbledon. That was 8 years ago, 1984, when he beat Jimmy Connors. And Andre Agassi, many figured that his success would be in Paris on clay. He was the finalist there twice, but here he is at Wimbledon, a tournament he avoided for 3 years until last season against John McEnroe.
It's the earliest start on center court, 11:30.
Andre Agassi with his theme, image is everything, and John McEnroe with his no theme, image ain't nothing, I guess.
Just glad he's got the image around at 33.
McEnroe to open the semis.
59.
Agassi has really grooved his return to serve this whole tournament. It's been the best shot that he's produced. The difference is John McEnroe is left-handed. Therefore, the angles will be different.
The other question, Bud, is that Agassi loves pace. Hit it as hard as you want. That just favors my return game. And McEnroe isn't going to give him velocity. He's going to give him angles and spins.
And he'll be up there attacking more than Boris Becker did.
39.
They haven't met for 3 years, so their head-to-head really offers no significance to this meeting. McEnroe is 1-2 against Agassi lifetime.
Never met on grass, of course. Davis Cup teammates.
And French Open doubles partners.
Sun just out. He's startled.
What is that bright thing in the sky?
Oh. His backhand has been a rocket throughout the tournament. Once in a while, the forehand will let him down, as it did for a while against Becker. But once both came into song, it was jarring.
McEnroe at 33, the oldest man to enter the second week of this championship, has been practicing during the fortnight with Agassi after playing doubles with him in Paris.
They even warmed up this morning, which was very surprising. You just saw a great return to serve. I think that his 2 best returns to serve are the dippers. He has enough spin that just dips at John's feet, and also he comes up with that topspin lob when you least expect it to. So watch out for that shot.
Go.
That's what Agassi has done the entire championship. A quick break point for him.
And he just steps in. He hits the ball so early, catches John off guard. That first return really sets up that winner.
McEnroe said that Jimmy Connors, always received his serves best of all. He said, now Agassi, he is tough. double fault that doesn't please McEnroe as Agassi has a quick lead. Semifinals.
Continuing to fall steadily here at Wimbledon. Play was suspended in the ladies' championship match after Steffi Graf won the first set and then held serve to open the second. In the meantime, and while we have time, let's take you back to John McEnroe and Andre Agassi in their semifinal played earlier today on center court.
Midday above center court. Blue sky. Oh, does that look good? We haven't seen the sun for 4 or 5 days here after a sensational first week of the fortnight. And now perhaps even a problem for the man tossing the ball on service.
And that result tells you something about how McEnroe used to feel about Agassi. Agassi quit in that match in Dallas, and McEnroe was disparaging. As he was 2 years ago. McEnroe couldn't play a Davis Cup match against Czechoslovakia. Andre accepted, and then a couple of days after accepting, decided he wouldn't play. And McEnroe was vitriolic in his criticism, and that's all been wiped away by their recent friendship.
Agassi on the baseline.
39.
John definitely thought that ball was out.
The umpire is Jay Snyder, an American.
I don't envy the linesman in this match, the way Andre's been hitting.
And with the sun, too, it's tougher, you know, the way the ball lands in the dust and the chalk on the baseline. Worn.
Well, this is the big difference in this match versus the Boris Becker match. Boris was pretty heavy-footed coming into the net, and Andre's returns were right at his feet. But John, he's quicker, and he's more agile coming into the net.
Oh.
40-15.
Agassi said being in the semis means more than a final in the other Grand Slams.
And who says you have to be a serve and volleyer? He just takes advantage of that weak return and comes in. That's good enough on this grass.
Says this place gives him more energy than I could ever have imagined. And he's playing like it. Too low.
Agassi leads 2 games to love for 7.
A very slow start this year. Agassi did not play the Australian Open. He's never played it. And then, for the first time after everybody else had been criticizing him, he criticized himself. He said, I made a mistake.
Follow up on that, but he said, I have an uncanny ability to make people think I'm stupid. Said, I got to work on that.
And I think the last really 2 years he's felt a lot of pressure from the Jim Couriers and the P. Samperses. That's why he started the weightlifting, and to develop more muscles. He became a little bit bulky, and I think it slowed him down.
In the finals 5 straight times in the 80s, 80 through 84, winning 3 times.
Left-handed serve to that backhand side is so important to the left-handed server. Wins a lot of free points off that serve.
McEnroe scoring his first ace. There's that dipper.
Well, and this was advice that John McEnroe had given him at the French. On grass, you have to shorten your swing, and he's been doing that so beautifully.
Historic semifinal day for the men. The first time in 41 years since 1951 that none of the top 4 seeds made it to the semis. Highest seed is Pete Sampras, number 5. Ivanisevic is 8. Agassi, number 12 seed, and McEnroe, unseeded, 30th player in the world.
Well, it happens so often.
No point. They'll play the point over, and I believe he said he was going to turn the Cyclops machine off.
Andre asked him to.
Replay.
And umpire Jay Snyder says replay it. They're going to disregard the machine.
The beeper went off after you returned the ball.
Let's turn it off then.
Again.
This thing's been screwing up for 2 weeks. Why would it? Huh?
McEnroe would agree with that. Turn it off. So Jay Snyder has ordered the machine to be turned off. The lines people will call from the rest of this match.
That's as it should be.
Agassi catching the ball on the rise so quickly and gets it back over the net. And that charging server doesn't get a chance to set himself much, does he? 40-30.
England club, and we hope to return soon to the ladies final as rain has subsided a bit. But here's the scene now on center court, reminiscent of last year's wave on the middle Sunday of these championships. A new twist from these spirited fans, the umbrella wave. Earlier, Andre Agassi tried to wave John McEnroe from this Wimbledon in their semifinal match. Here's how we called it.
Agassi up a break here early and continues to return serve incredibly, and his service games have been powerful as well. McEnroe, we mentioned Bud in a position of becoming the oldest to win Wimbledon in 62 years. Bill Tilden in 1930 was 37 years old. If he should go on and win this at 33, that covers a pretty good span.
Oop. Tilden was the first American man to win the title in 1920. He won it again in 1921. And then in those days, before airplane travel, he didn't come over again for several years. He didn't want to make the steamship journey and stayed in the United States and played on grass there.
And John taking advantage of the mid-court return. He wants to get in as much as he can. He can't beat him from the baseline. Genius hands up at the net.
Oh, look at that. That's right out of a textbook.
Except there's only one copy, and he's got it.
Well, you mentioned the steamship. In Tilden's day, when Agassi qualifies at 33, it'll be a spaceship maybe. That'll be the year 2003 when he is McEnroe's age.
Might have the tournament on Mars then. Find some resistant grass. slipped.
30-40.
But it was a very good shot by McEnroe.
McEnroe's first chance to break. And to pull even in the set at 2-all.
John will have to get in some deeper returns because Andre, he's just approaching the net so well.
Advantage McEnroe.
John McEnroe is so instinctive up there. He knows where he should be. He knows where the ball's going.
His weight shifting as he makes the return so that he's headed for that net. Never takes it on his heels or backs up.
Well, a dose of Agassi's own medicine. Service return winner. McEnroe's back even.
2 games all, first set.
That feels better for John. He's been out hit, but he's even.
3 weekends from now, we'll be in Barcelona for the opening ceremonies of the 1992 Olympic Games. We'll be chatting with Bob Costas from the host city, Barcelona, Spain, and all the Olympic preparations during the course of our breakfast at Wimbledon today.
Tennis will be in the Olympics. Few people knew about it in 1988.
You did.
NBC didn't.
Rush Schneiderman did, but we didn't show a lot of it.
15-love.
We promise much more coverage this year, especially as I work with Katie Couric in the mornings at 7 to 10. We're going to involve you a lot, Bud Collins.
There's going to be some very good tennis. Jim Courier will be there. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario will have the whole town cheering for her, as well as her 2 brothers, Javier and Emilio Sanchez.
Once again, look at this return right at his feet. John does well to flick it back. Just picks it up off the ground, bends his knees. That's why most grass court players have problems with their knees, Bud. Always bending.
If you don't get down there, you're just not going to succeed, are you, on this stuff?
No, and you're really, I think, at a disadvantage the taller you are.
But Stan Smith won it. And Becker.
40-love.
John getting some good first serves in.
Chance for him to see the bigger number next to his name on the scoreboard. First time.
Good move by Michael Bordeaux there, avoiding dire injury.
Yeah, Michael's from good vintage. Game to McEnroe. Will return to breakfast at Wimbledon after these words from your local station. McEnroe broken in the first game of the match, but has broken back on serve as Agassi comes out. We mentioned that this will be a long shot Wimbledon. The top 4 seeds excused before the semis, first time since 1951 when the 5th seed was Herb Flamm. He didn't win it. The 6th seed did.
Dick Savage. out of Cornell. I saw him here a few days ago, a New Yorker.
Love.
Hmm.
30-15.
First double fault for Agassi.
And you're going to see Andre maybe going for a little bit more on a second serve, because John is just positioning himself to come in if he gives him any sort of weak second serve. John, I think, anticipating a cross-court return. He was a little slow getting over to the down-the-line shot. But Andre disguises it so well because he waits the last minute to really change direction of the ball.
There's certainly some likenesses between Agassi and a young girl that was practicing behind him at Bollettieri's in Bradenton, Florida a few years ago. Game to Agassi, it's 3-all.
Three games all for set.
Monica Seles, who will play after this match in the ladies final against Steffi Graf. Two-handed, quick, getting the ball on the rise, slashing, passing shots.
Very similar, and perfect disguise off the backhand, and she too was coached by Nick, although she doesn't like to admit it.
Strange.
But what about John McEnroe, Martina Navratilova? Similarities there also.
McEnroe can't believe that ball hit the baseline. Apologies from Agassi.
Very sincere, too.
Well, it was a definite mishit. It hit off the frame.
Agassi advised Monica Seles not to play here. He said, you won't like the grass.
Now he's in love with it.
Yeah, exactly. She said, I had to come. I had to see it. That was in 1989, and he's changed that outlook.
And it's interesting to see Agassi in the semifinals, and then really two baseliners in the finals of the women's. So who says this is a serve and volley court?
That's spoken from a person that you'd think likes the baseline.
Experience. Well, John has to start.
It's Pat Cash in the second round. He's taken a set off him. Cash and McEnroe, the two former champions, battling dramatically to a 5-set decision. McEnroe beating the Australian, and then just cruised on through the rest of the competition until today. Agassi has the first set.
Yep.
15-all.
Even when he doesn't hit it solidly, it still goes into the court.
He seemed to mishit that a little bit. The timing wasn't perfect.
Like the Bjorn Borg backhand, actually.
Can you draw any comparisons to Borg, or are they totally different, Bud? Baseline, and then it ends.
I think they're different, but all-out hitters of the ground strokes, Agassi's are more powerful because of the equipment today.
But they're certainly very different in temperament.
Oh, yeah.
Borg was a machine. He just thought about tennis all day long.
This is the boy billboard. Borg would have had nothing to do with that, just different altogether.
They both had hair in common, as
Yes.
Borg used to always let his beard grow before Wimbledon and through Wimbledon, and Agassi refuses to get a haircut.
And he had a bit of a beard in Paris.
These men have these superstitions, don't they?
Do women?
Not many.
Ace number 3.
Borg would have said image is nothing.
Well, he didn't try, but he had a great image.
Oh, that's right, without trying. That was a genuine image.
Oh. Well, that was about as good a first serve that one could hit. Agassi is just picking them, just reading his serve so well. Good eyes.
When you consider that Andre made only 3 unforced errors in the first set, he has been flying.
Another baseline for Agassi. McEnroe says, how many times? And McEnroe also has to be weighted by thoughts of the first game of the match when he double faulted to give Agassi the lead. And although he broke back, Agassi with a late break to take the set 6-4. And now deuce.
What a load this puts on the server to be mistreated like that. Mac must try harder and harder.
Advantage Agassi.
Well, that it put so much pressure on John McEnroe. I was noticing that even his first serve has more sting to it because Agassi is just threatening him all the time, challenging him. Any other player he could get away with even serving a 3/4 pace serve, but not with Andre Agassi.
Brother Patrick McEnroe up in the upper right, and wife Tatum. Coach Larry Stefanke. That's the 3rd double fault, McEnroe. Agassi with a set. McEnroe feeling the punishment.
First game, second set.
Take a look at the first set statistics. Agassi McEnroe serve percentage about the same. Unforced errors. Agassi wailing away from both wings and committing just 3 unforced. Actually, McEnroe played a good set.
It was a very well played set. Excellent set.
Yeah, the difference was John just started out a little bit too slow, and very often that happens. I hate to bring up age, but when you get a little bit older, you know, you're a little bit stiffer, and it takes a few more games to get into a match. Loosen up.
How would you know?
Because I played for a long time.
Well, McEnroe has used the lob so effectively in this fortnight.
And as you watch this topspin, not a big swing, just such good touch.
But McEnroe in the hole, down a set and broken immediately in this second.
Andre dancing well inside that baseline all the time.
Yes, he's really hugging the baseline. You sense that he had a few options there. He had the open court. He also could have played a lob. That would have been effective.
second ace for Agassi. Agassi, who is very fond of the kick serves and the slice serves and used them to some effect in Paris on the clay, but he's been wise enough to go with a lot of smash serves, and he generates good power, and it's working on this grass surface.
I think that has a lot to do with the weight training. Upper body wise, he does have more power.
Pretty all.
Quite a treat for this center court crowd. Not only the men's semi, but the women's final that will be held immediately after this match. And then McEnroe will be back with Michael Stick, the defending men's champion. They're a doubles team in the semifinals with a doubles date.
Well, he's out-rallied Agassi for 2 straight points.
Boy, this would be important for his mood to break back.
Yes.
Well, it was a tough angle to make. He seemed to be about 6 feet behind the baseline. Not a good percentage shot. Defensive lob from Andre Agassi. His best lob really is an aggressive topspin lob. He had no spin on this at all. He, if anything, hit it flat, straight up in the air. John was waiting for it, handled it well.
John McEnroe. He has broken back. It's 1-all.
1 game all, second set.
And Agassi had him. McEnroe needs something other than that pretty smile to boost his hopes here in this semifinals.
Who needs anything more than a smile like that, huh? It's only a game. Agassi.
Well, he had such great disguise off this shot. He kept the ball on the strings until the last minute and then flicked his wrist. Almost hit it behind him. John had no idea where that shot was going.
Could be dangerous for amateurs to attempt a shot of that sort. How in the world does he get so much on it?
$15.
Ace number 4. How well do you know Nick Bollettieri, Agassi's coach?
I've seen Nick around. I've known him for about 10 years. Skis in Aspen. But it's interesting because so much has been made of this friendship between John and Andre and the fact they played doubles together. But Nick got him before this match and said, hey, when you go out there in that court, treat him like he's your worst enemy. Forget the friendship.
Well, he's doing it.
40-15.
Nick has created quite an empire down there in Bradenton. He was at the Colony Beach and Longboat Key for a long time, but he outgrew that, built his place with clay, grass, hard, indoor, any kind of court you can think of.
Well, I think he's one of the greatest motivators I've ever seen.
Well, the two #1 players in the world currently are his products, Jim Courier and Monica Seles, and David Wheaton here, seated 16th.
Sampras works out there a lot, living in Bradenton now.
Bjorn Borg worked out there this year.
Bjorn Borg was there all winter.
40-30.
And number 4 in that ugly column.
Well, that's the load Andre is putting on him. He feels he has to serve perfectly.
The winner, the finals tomorrow. Breakfast at Wimbledon, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock in the West, against either Pete Sampras or Goran Ivanisevic, the other semi.
Game McEnroe.
Andre Agassi motoring as he is wont to do through this championship, and certainly a surprise as the 12th seed to park his sports car in the semifinal. And John McEnroe, a little more mileage on his vehicle, but he too a major surprise. It's been a terrific Wimbledon. I think the happiest one that I've witnessed.
A fantastic Wimbledon. We came in here fearing, with all these new weapons, that the men would be very boring, and they haven't been at all. And this match is an exhibition of how tennis can be played on grass, played very thoughtfully, handsomely.
Oh, he was there.
15th anniversary Wimbledon for him.
Well, I'm so happy to see John doing so well. He's has such a huge impact, as you see this shot, and John making an unforced error, really. But the impact he's had on the sport, he's really raised the awareness level of the game, very much like Jimmy Connors. Haven't always agreed with his tantrums, but I love watching him play.
Shot, catching Agassi off guard, and what does Andre do?
Well, it was a wonderful shot in the sense that it was sort of a fade forehand, but the problem being he didn't get into the net. He just sort of stayed in the middle of the court. Look, he's not in there close at all.
He thought it was going to be a good enough shot.
Agassi adopting the white cap a la Jim Courier in Paris.
Game
It's 2-all. And the dailies here in London,
2 games all.
speculating as to why he's wearing the cap, and some thought he's going bald. There were all kinds of major headline stories about Agassi, and then he took off that cap in the first press conference, and everyone realized why he's wearing it. I mean, he does have lots of hair. And only Bud Collins would smile and envy and continue to write for the Boston
He's going to give me
Globe.
some of his cuttings if he ever cuts it.
Implants, huh? Hey, you look good in that style.
Get me that platinum bucket.
Very important for John to hang on to this game. Even though he lost that first set, he's still very alive in this match. And you know, Bud, when someone's returning this well, you sort of wonder if they can keep it up. I mean, over a long period of time, 3, 4, 5 sets, it's almost impossible.
He kept it up against Becker for 5 sets. This kid Agassi.
15 all.
Not many people. He's only the 3rd ever to beat Boris Becker on this center court.
Well, 5 wins coming into that match. I think that gave him a lot of confidence. This is a truer test, I believe, for his grass court abilities anyway.
McEnroe, like a fighter pinned against the ropes, taking one punch, then another. Then another. And finally, the knockdown.
I think that's a good play, that jammer serve, because Andre's been really returning well the angles. Serving right into his body. Well, I've watched a lot of tennis over the years. I've never in my life seen returns like this. Consistently.
Even from Borg.
Even from Borg.
Connors.
Absolutely.
And he's been productive on break points as well. Agassi, as you see, as passing shot winners. He's had 3 chances to break McEnroe and taken all 3. And here another to go up 3-2 in the second.
Ouch.
It's out. To the chagrin of John McEnroe. Andre Agassi up a set, up a break in the second. This 4th of July, 3 Americans to the semifinal round. First time that's happened in 10 years, when Connors, McEnroe, and Tim Mayotte were in the final 4. John McEnroe, Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras today, along with the Croatian left-hander Goran Ivanisevic. And it's Andre Agassi back in front in the second set, leading by a set, 3-2.
15 on.
The ball is dropping so swiftly,
yes,
with that topspin as it comes over the net. McEnroe, there's probably never been a better volleyer in the history of tennis, and it's troubling him.
Well, that's that dip shot that we were talking about before that Nick Bollettieri said he was going to use a lot of.
He's got McEnroe in a daze. I think we should underline again, McEnroe is not playing poorly.
No, this is a very fine tennis match. McEnroe is playing well enough to beat anybody but Agassi today.
Look at that serve. He started that 7 feet on the other side of the middle line, and he just sliced it right in. I don't think McEnroe thought he was going to make it. McEnroe on this 4th of July, as so many of us reflecting on the American tradition and our heritage.
Game Agassi. Ball change.
Agassi leads 4-2. McEnroe's family, McEnroe's Irish roots trace back to 1821 to Bally James Duff, and the family coat of arms is a wolfhound scaling a tree. And that must be just about how John Patrick McEnroe feels now, trying to hound this Agassi, scale a tree that seems to find Agassi climbing higher with each stroke.
How appropriate, because as the Californians would say, Agassi is treeing it. I get that from Leo Levin. They say you're like Tarzan. You're above the ground. You're swinging.
Treeing.
Treeing. And the wolfhound is baying.
Love 15.
Chris doesn't understand all that talk. You know, she was always on the ground, you know, both feet always right there.
She treated at times.
These comments are going completely over my head.
She treated at Flushing Meadow, 1980, beating Tracy Austin, taking that title back. Tracy, who will be in the Hall of Fame next Saturday at Newport.
Second serve.
John McEnroe, perhaps with a little help from the net cord, closing in, cutting off that down the line shot.
But not happy even on a winner.
Andre Agassi had his racket back, waiting for the ball almost before John McEnroe even served it. A mixture of anticipation and quick reaction. Look at that.
And a good example also of McEnroe's coaching advice to Agassi. He said, when you get over on grass, shorten up your strokes.
Right.
Boy, that was short, compact, and a killer. 15-30.
Also, every shot counts. You know, on clay, you can afford to hit 3 or 4 and not really care about it. On grass, try to win the point right away.
And Agassi is 4 for 4 on break points. And with this miss, he has 2 of them to go up 5-2. It's almost a backhanded compliment to Agassi that McEnroe can't be mad. He can't be mad at himself the way his opponent's playing.
Well, I think he knows that he's being outplayed so far in this match.
What was that?
Game Agassi.
In disbelief, McEnroe sees back on center court, where the modern day version of Elvis Presley's Return to Sender.
You got to say return to sender.
I knew you'd help
Can you
me.
do that, Dick?
Andre Agassi, what a return game he has shown center court. The likes that have gotten some old heads shaken today, including McEnroe's. A rare miss of a line.
Boy, when he misses, though, it's by an inch or two.
John McEnroe on the other end of the court has won only 4 points in the last 4 games.
The eyedropper still in action.
Well, I'm sure this was the strategy that he had coming into this match. He probably discussed it with Larry, his coach. That drop volley, I've said this before, that's been the shot of the tournament. The ball dies. Oh.
It's ping pong for Andre. Right off the grass. Boop, 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 boop.
Look at.
Yeah.
He's inside the line. He's not inside the line, but if he can hit these shots 2 feet behind the baseline, there's nothing anybody can do against him.
15-14.
He hasn't done the serve and volley often. First time.
And McEnroe with a chance to earn back one of those 2 breaks that he's down. He's 2 of 4 conversions today.
30-40.
McEnroe now 2 of 5. Agassi 5 of 5.
This hit.
Either he drives it high velocity, laser shot winners, and then when he doesn't hit it cleanly, it still goes in. Another break point gone.
And a real strength of John McEnroe's game has been his unpredictability. He has such variety. I wonder if practicing all these weeks, I wonder if that's worked against him in this match. Andre seems to know his game very well.
Advantage Agassi.
That look on McEnroe's face, almost like the punchline to that joke, you know, playing tennis with God. You know, do you want to play tennis or do you want to just fool around? Set point. Another line. What else? And the 22-year-old from Las Vegas is up 2 sets.
Agassi leads by 2 sets to love.
Well,
I don't know how
comebacks.
McEnroe can play better, Dick.
No, I don't
Chrissy?
know. And I don't know what John can do. I think he just has to keep trying to get some good first serves in. That's his strength. Try to hold serve. Hopefully Andre will give him a few weak second serves he can come in, but it's a frustrating position for John to be in.
Great comebacks, the will of the old player, and these fans will cheer mightily if McEnroe can do something to dent Agassi.
Oh. Well, that's what happens. Andre's been passing so well that John is trying to get even closer to the net and cut off the angles, but it leaves him vulnerable to the lob.
Clinic. Oh, just to show you I don't even miss on those.
Everybody hits a winning return on a fault, though. Or on a net cord. Oh.
Up 30.
6 double faults. It's a anniversary of sorts for McEnroe. 15 years ago, he went all the way to the semifinals in his first year unseeded, and he's unseeded in the semis today. Only the 18th time in the Open era that a semifinalist has been unseeded. Number 5. Looking for his 60th Wimbledon win, McEnroe.
Andre looking for his 11th.
Seven double faults and worthy of a pretty good throw.
Didn't bounce it very well, though.
And Agassi's been pouncing on those double faults like prime cuts of meat. Oh, he devours and has throughout the match.
I don't know how you get to that position. God knows you ever make a decent decision this damn career of mine. Incredible. Pathetic.
Kind words for umpire Jay Snyder.
That was when McEnroe left the court after being broken for the 4th time in his last 5 service games.
Now, wait a minute. Jay Snyder must have responded. He's called the wrong score. It's 15-love. McEnroe just hit the backhand into the net. He called love 15. I wonder if he'll correct himself.
Well, both players are concentrating, obviously, because
that neither one
detect that error.
It's love 30. The score is love 30.
30 love.
30 love, yeah. It's 2 points to Agassi. But the score has been called 15-all, and maybe Snyder was rattled by
Got us
that
all confused.
Soliloquy of McEnroe's, which was not complimentary. It's 30 love.
That should have been worthy of a warning, shouldn't it? Slamming the Coke and mild profanity.
A warning, yeah. Now it's 40 love.
30-15.
But he's calling 30-15. The real score is 40 love, and the scoreboard is following the umpire. The scoreboard is wrong. As you can see behind Andre.
Andre looks confused there.
The way Agassi's playing, so you give him a point a game.
Yeah.
40-15.
That should be game. That should be game. And Andre is just...
Well, check your scorecard, because I wanted to...
Thank you.
McEnroe knows.
Game Agassi.
Embarrassing moment for Jay Snyder.
Agassi leads 2 games to 1.
And McEnroe wasn't going to cheat his pal.
You just know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
You know what he's thinking.
And you wonder if he was thinking that the whole game.
Quiet, please.
6 straight games for Agassi.
Well, McEnroe still had the top verb in the tournament when he accused an umpire of pontificating. Can't do that in my house.
penalty points for pontificating. Huh?
Yeah.
First serve.
Well, he's using all those multisyllabic terms because he was supposed to have those ready for our broadcast booth for NBC.
Well, wonder if he'll ever pontificate on our behalf.
Well, he's one of the few players that went to college and showing in his vocabulary.
Is that a Stanford word? Pontification. A lot of that out on that campus, apparently.
Many times, as soon as that ball hits the net, players look away, but not John. His eye is on the ball the whole time, so he can get those net cords. He can react quickly.
And one of the rare passing misses on the backhand side from Andre.
And Andre hitting with such depth, really preventing John from being in his favorite territory, the net. He doesn't want to be drawn into some baseline rallies with Andre Agassi.
Gee.
30-15.
All week, the players, especially Guy Forget, came up with this one in the press conference, said what a real honor it was to play McEnroe because he was the greatest champion on grass. And McEnroe's reply was, hey, that's garbage. I don't buy it. They're all saying we're honored to play him, but really all they'd like to do is kick me in the butt out on the court.
Or words to that effect, yeah.
I was trying to be nice.
Andre's got his kicking shoes on.
Nice firm volley right in the middle of the strings. Good timing.
Game McEnroe.
So Agassi's run that had reached 7 straight games finally snapped by McEnroe. Here's McEnroe when he finally held service after being broken 3 straight times and losing 7 consecutive games to Agassi, almost a mock celebration. But with this crowd on its edge wanting to cheer for McEnroe, hoping he can muster a comeback here, 2 sets down. Who knows? Can Agassi continue to hit the ball the way he has? Yeah, I guess so.
No, I don't think so.
He won't even let me ask the question.
John, but you know, that's the beauty of 3 out of 5 sets. I mean, any other time, except for the Grand Slams, this match would be over. But John still has a shot and still has a chance. The fighter he is, I wouldn't count him out yet.
30 love.
Three years ago, he came back against Darren Cahill, 8-6 in the 5th.
40 love.
It's the 3rd ace for Agassi.
Cahill, the Australian, has disappeared from the scene. I believe injuries.
Well, John was a little lucky there. Andre came in on a weak shot. John did not take advantage of it, hit it right back to him.
Agassi leads 3-1 in the third set. And Bud, you get the feeling that that win, the two-day win against Boris Becker, with Agassi has his critics saying, you know, sometimes in the tough matches that he just wilts late and can't really close the deal. And the fact that he came out this second day against a tough champion like Becker and beat him, who knows how much that's going to build in his confidence.
Plus, Dick, you recall he had 4 match points on his own serve and blew him. And then came back 2 games later to win. Yeah, the wordsmiths who've been calling him Bagassi and Gagassi and things like that may have to reconsider.
Andre himself has questioned, will I ever win a major, a Grand Slam event? So close twice in the French finals and beaten. U.S. Open 2 years ago, lost to Sampras. Who would ever think that Wimbledon might be a possibility?
That's what's so wonderful about this game.
Watch the movement of Andre Agassi. Short steps, so quick around the court.
That's biting the hand that leads you. Here, McEnroe has taken Andre under his wing when he should have pushed his head into a bathtub. It's glorious.
They're going to have to bring out the titanium paste and reline this court. Agassi has just worn out the white. One of those days. How can a man play better than Andre Agassi to this point?
Well, we said that when he played Becker. How could he play better? And today he is playing better.
Revise the scenario on Andre Agassi. Cannot play on grass. Cannot compete in the biggies.
Doesn't have nerve.
Yeah.
Pretty all.
Just missed on that one. And the other, remember 3 years ago, Connors and McEnroe were saying, hey, a little bit too much mustard on the hot dog. I mean, that he was overplaying in their eyes, the veterans' eyes, to the crowd and to the cameras, and he's toned that all down too. What a mature approach he's taken through this championship.
Well, he has better peace of mind, and he's now playing for himself. He's not playing for sponsors and agents. And
40-30.
better attitude for a tennis player.
In a way, you couldn't blame Andre. He had a lot of fans who didn't even know how to keep score. They just thought he was wonderful. The millions kept rolling in. What was wrong with that?
McEnroe, here's some solid cheers. Down a break in the third. 6.5 miles from Hyde Park Corner, downtown London, village of Wimbledon, and its famed All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club Center Court, where 22-year-old Andre Agassi playing perhaps the match of his life 3 games from the finals of Wimbledon.
Love 15.
McEnroe, that's the stuff that won him 3 titles. And he's making his 32nd appearance on center court. And look at what he taught Andre. Come in, and then shows him what can happen, too.
Terrific service save to set up the lob winner. And a rare crack for McEnroe. Love 30.
It's only a breakdown.
What an angle. Acutely in the corner again from Agassi. 10 unforced errors today. Let's read that again.
4-to-1 ratio. Does Leo know what he's doing?
Correction, that was good.
Oh, come on now.
I don't know.
You've got to be kidding me. That's a clear mistake? What constitutes a clear mistake to you? A quarter of an inch? A large puff of chalk behind the line constitutes a clear mistake? Oh, you got to be. That's an incredibly bad call.
So little to feel good about for McEnroe, and a release, not the volatility of 10 years ago. Get some of the steam off. 15-30.
Pythagorean is Agassi.
I know what he's thinking. If this doesn't stop, I've got to join NBC. Oh, my.
Is there a three knockdown rule here?
He says not Collins and Enberg. No.
No. That was a clear ace.
You see the mark, right?
The ball cleaned the center line. However, it doesn't seem to matter to Andre. He's not going to be contentious, but that was a clear ace. The center line is much whiter where the ball skidded on the titanium.
.40-30.
Well, we're going to see John McEnroe in the Seniors Championship. That'll be in October here on NBC, or at least he's talking about being part of that competition. Of course, he'll make plans for the U.S. Open as well, and had hopes for another day tomorrow at Wimbledon. But
Game, Agassi.
Agassi, 2 games from the championship.
Agassi needs the third set.
As a wonderful Wimbledon for John McEnroe is being sewed shut by a masterful performance from young Andre Agassi today. Two games from the championship final. Can McEnroe slow him down now? Sixth ace, although you couldn't prove it by Agassi.
This is almost LBW for you cricket fans. Really jammed him.
Leg before wicket.
Yet he put it into play. The hottest hands in the tournament. Other than perhaps that left of Goran Ivanisevic, which is hit for 133 aces.
40 left.
First started to talk about Andre Agassi about 6 years ago, 16, and word was you got to go out and see him. The racket speed for a young man is incredible, the speed he generates. Producing those great shots today. With his seventh ace, John McEnroe holds. Agassi in command. Will return breakfast at Wimbledon after these words from your local
Agassi
station.
by 4-3. Third set.
Dick Enberg, Bud Collins, Chris Everett, Hannah Storm back at center court, Wimbledon. It's the championship that most players treasure most, this historic title. And if you're ever going to call up your career match, this is the place. And Agassi's done just that today. His fourth ace.
No flash bulbs, please, ladies and gentlemen, during play.
Andre, look at him coming inside the baseline. He had to back up, of course, for that, but he's in position for the kill.
For serve.
6 points away from a Wimbledon final.
Five aces. Ace is insignificant in this match. It's been the ground stroking passing power of Andre Agassi.
15.
In a row. That hasn't happened before.
miss that moment for McEnroe. From 40 love to deuce is Agassi's game.
Is Andre feeling a little bit of the tickle of being so close?
And McEnroe a point for 4-all in the third set. Didn't he play that well? Terrible bounce.
Yes. Agassi.
What more can happen? You remember those Marx Brothers movies with an actor called Edgar Kennedy, The Slow Burn? He did everything right, but it would all go wrong. And McEnroe, same expression at McEnroe with his hand to his forehead.
Sensing here that 1 or 2 points in John's favor would just change the momentum, the complexion of this match. But he can't get that one break.
Oh.
McEnroe's only breaks of service in the first and second sets early.
Where was Andre?
Is that the final knockdown? Someone stop the fight, they yelled from up high in the rafters.
Such a natural volleyer, and on these big points, pressure points, he doesn't want to be in the backcourt. Always on the defensive with Andre Agassi.
Agassi leads the third set by 5 games to 3.
Semifinals scheduled yesterday, washed out. First time ever here at Wimbledon. The 2 men's semis and the women's final scheduled on this final Saturday. John McEnroe been brilliant through the tournament, advancing as an unseeded player all the way to this semifinal round against the 12th seed Andre Agassi, who has played incredibly top-level tennis. And now it's McEnroe 3-5 match game for Agassi.
15 love.
John still looks very encouraged. He's playing positive tennis. That first serve set up that point for him.
If he can hang in. Andre just can't keep this up, can he? That's what you have to hope, that if you can keep delaying a guy, that he'll cool down somewhere.
Well, you're waiting for just a string of a couple of points where he'll make errors, but he hasn't given an inch here. Look at that.
Oh.
We've seen that the whole match.
Even Michael Jordan misses some of his shots, doesn't he? This is the 29th winner passing shot for Agassi. 12 from the forehand, 17 backhand, so he doesn't give you any hope either wing.
John not used to seeing these returns come at him so early. He's used to being in a few more steps closer to the net.
All. Wants to hold, wants to make Andre serve for it. Think about it. Because Andre didn't hold the first time he served for it against Boris Becker in the quarterfinals. Blew 4 match points, but recovered beautifully. Ho, 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 ho.
30-40.
Match point Agassi. A smiling congratulations from McEnroe to Agassi. Less than 2 hours, but for aging John McEnroe, punishment for years inflicted by, well, this man with the brilliance of his hometown, the Las Vegas Neons. He's through to his first Wimbledon championship as the number 12 seed. And for McEnroe, a great tournament. He played well, and the score will be tremendously misleading. 6-4, 6-2, 6-3 in McEnroe's behalf. He was just beaten today by a man that played, well, we'll see what he says, perhaps the match of his life. 49 winners for Agassi, 12 unforced errors, 49-12 for a man who strikes the ball so furiously.
Ladies and gentlemen, we remind you to please take your property.
They're good friends, and now that it's over, no one will be happier for Agassi or root harder for him tomorrow than John McEnroe. Agassi forgot the royal box. McEnroe calling him back. Well, he advised him before. He advises him his final steps off center court.
I think we have to take it back.